This is Dustin Arbuckle from Dustin Arbuckle and the Damnations. You are listening to Rock Paper Podcast.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Scissors beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats scissors, Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey, everybody. Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri, hanging out on Zoom with Dustin Arbuckle. Welcome to the show, man. Welcome back to the show, I should say.
Thank you for having me back, man. It's an honor to come back. I appreciate it.
This was like already over 2 years since your last appearance on the show, which is wild to think about. I think because it feels like we've been in quarantine for like over 2 years. So like,
Yeah.
so that's one other thing about it. But man, it's cool like to catch up with you today and we got a brand new record to talk about and a lot of fun stuff, even though it's crazy times out there in the world, but at least we got some exciting things to shine a little light on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that's, for me, it's a positive thing
Right.
to be able to be putting some new music out into the world right now. I think it's good for people to hear.
Yeah.
At least I hope.
I've had a lot of friends come on and promoting records throughout this time and stuff. And that's, it's kind of, we all go through the debate, do we go ahead and go through with this, or do we hold off till a certain point or whatever it is? And I was like, man, ultimately I think it's a great idea because still there's so many people that are stuck at home, and why not give them something to listen to, so.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I absolutely agree with that. And we did have a conversation about it within the band. Like, do we think this is a good idea right now? But ultimately, it really wasn't much of a question because from the perspective you just mentioned, people want entertainment right now and people want new music. It's something else to focus on. And
Sure.
And for us as a band, both from an artistic standpoint and from a promotional standpoint, it makes sense for us to put something out right now when we can't be touring.
Mm-hmm.
We have been lucky enough to play a few shows kind of closer to home here throughout the summer when outdoor stuff can happen and people
Right.
can be in environments where they can spread out and be a little safer. But from the perspective of not really being able to tour, it's good for us because it allows us to do something that helps create momentum and helps us remind our fans that, hey, we're still here and we're still making music. And we've wanted to get this record out for so long. And it had been something that had been in the can for a while. And something we've been working on for a while. And we really didn't want to make our friends and our fans wait any longer to hear it.
Right.
And we certainly didn't want to wait any longer before we put it out there into the world. We've been playing a lot of these songs live for a while. So people have said for a while, do you have that song on a CD? It's like, well, no, not yet, but we will soon. Well, no,
Yeah.
now it is on an album. So
There you go. I heard, I guess probably most of these songs. You came to town in January with the band and played at a little wine and whiskey bar, one of my favorite spots here in Chesterfield, Missouri, and at the Naked Vine. So it was cool to get a show in before we, little did we know that everything was going to get shut down soon after that. But you guys come through and put on a hell of a show, and it was a really great night. And it was just fun to get to see, some of my favorite guys in a small whiskey bar and having a great time. So, but yeah, again, hearing a lot of these songs and hearing some of my favorite covers live, was really a good night.
I'm glad to hear you say that. And yeah, that was it. It was kind of a crazy trip, that show.
Yeah, it was like
torrential
snowstorm or rains.
Well, it just dumped rain on us the
Yeah.
entire time. The entire way from Wichita to St. Louis.
Yeah.
I mean, and then we drove back to Kansas City after the show to crash at our guitarist Brandon's place because we were supposed to have played in Kansas City the following night. But the cold front that followed that in turned everything to ice, and Kansas City shut down.
Right.
And so, that was kind of interesting getting back to Kansas City after that show. But yeah, back to your point of you did probably hear most of the songs off of the new album, which is called My Getaway is the name of the new record. And so
yeah,
you probably heard most of it that night.
And we'll be due out everywhere Friday the 11th, September 11th.
Yes.
And you can find it on your streaming platforms. You can find it digital download at Bandcamp, and
Yes.
you can find physical copies along with a new stock of T-shirts at Dustin Arbuckle Damnations.com, right?
That is correct. And yeah, we also, as you mentioned, we got a Bandcamp page now, and obviously it's available for download at all the major online retailers, but I would really strongly encourage anybody who prefers digital download as their medium to please check out our Bandcamp page, because obviously you're giving a lot more support to the artists from a financial standpoint if you buy our stuff off of Bandcamp than you are off of the big online retailers and stuff like that. It works out a little better for us.
Is the 11th? Is that another one of those Fridays or Artist Fridays or?
No, unfortunately not. Those are the first Friday of every month.
Okay.
But don't let that stop you. Just order it whenever you want to.
Right. But that's I think that's great to see the support they are putting, especially during this time. They're trying to do all they can to keep artists going and stuff. So
absolutely, I absolutely agree. And frankly, I knew about Bandcamp before this, but it was really that, and just the support that they were showing to artists, and that made me decide, like, yeah, we really need to be on this platform, because clearly they're showing artists a lot more support than a lot of platforms are right now. And that's greatly appreciated. It really is a great service. So
definitely, man. Well, again, we're going to give you a little preview of My Getaway. Some of these songs you may have heard through the EP, but you said are re-recorded and updated. So let's start with which is one of my favorites, which was from the EP, and gets stuck in my head and gets stuck in a loop whenever I get to play it, and I'll sit there and wear it out. But it's a song called Say My Name, and just such a fun song, man. Like, I just I don't know, there's something about it, like, it just feels good. Reminds me, like, I don't know, feel like I think it would be like perfect placement on like some kind of Tarantino movie or something like that. Like, it's just like it would be fun to hear in some movie like that. Like, but anyway, anything you want to talk about? Say My Name.
Well, we can only hope that Quentin Tarantino would pick up that song.
I'll make some calls.
That would, no. Hey, if you can hook that up, please make that happen.
I just want him to keep making more movies, man. So hopefully we can do that first too.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm a big fan of his work.
Yeah.
But that's a song. The bulk of that tune was actually written by Dr. Mark Foley, who is one of our bass players. And Mark was who we started the band with on bass, and he's also the professor of bass at Wichita State University and the principal bassist of the Wichita Symphony. So Mark's got a lot of obligations here at home, and unfortunately isn't able to tour with us quite as much as he'd like to. But definitely has contributed a lot of great songwriting ideas. And that song is mostly his. All I really did is just kind of tweak and refine some of the lyrics. But as soon as Mark brought it in, we all thought that it was a special tune, and that we could do something cool with it. And it really is. That the groove and the vibe of the song is pretty unique, really. It's kind of surfy. It's kind of like a rock soul tune, sort of. It's really hard to put in any kind of a box, but
Right.
it goes over like $1 million with everybody who hears it. I've had a lot of people tell me the same thing that you did, that it's just kind of an earworm, and it gets stuck in their head. And yeah, I did the same thing to me when we were first learning it. So
Yeah,
I'm
man.
really happy to get that one out there, and glad that folks seem to be digging it.
Yeah.
Tell me what you need, just to let me know. We could stay right here, or I could take you where you wanna go. I'm gonna show you what you want to see. Get your shoes, take my hand, we'll go exactly where you wanna be. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name. Talk to me. Just use my time. Got my attention. Let me know what you got on your mind. I just need to know how you want to groove. Just to use your hips to show me how you want my hips to move. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name. Say my name. I can drive you home. Just say the word. When it's from your lips, it's the finest thing I ever heard. Everything you say is all I want to hear. You can shout it loud, or come close and whisper in my ear. Say my name. 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 Say my name.
I was also going to show you this while we're talking about it, but don't know if you can see that over
I got
there.
the Pulp Fiction poster.
There
Awesome.
you go.
All right, good times.
I'm a bit of a fan myself. Things are a little crazy in here. We've been doing some remodeling around the house, so I got stuff everywhere. But yeah, I got got the guys back there on the wall. But yeah, man, great song. And this, I think I even did a video singing along to it in my car a while back.
You did, yeah, I saw that. That was great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, so that's what happens a lot. I get it turned up in the car and just got to sing and dance, man.
That's what it's there for.
Make you move.
It's music. That's what it's for.
But check out there's a fun video you guys did a couple years ago too on YouTube, and so be sure to check out the Damnations YouTube page and click subscribe there too for more videos. And
yeah, right now the page is just under my name. We need to get some more videos.
Okay.
Just under Dustin Arbuckle. But I mean, if you search for Dustin Arbuckle on the Damnations, it's about the first thing that'll come up is the Say My Name video. And
right.
Yeah, we need to get some more official videos out there, and then we can have our own YouTube channel and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we had a lot of fun making that video. It was filmed on stage, but not at a live show. It was staged, but the audio is live. At a great venue we have here in town called the Cotillion Ballroom, which has been open since like 1960, and is really kind of the classic concert venue here in Wichita. A lot of great bands, amazing bands have come through there over the years. And it turned out really, really well. Our friend Lonnie Quattlebaum and his company Digital Brand did an amazing job on that video. And we were super happy with how it turned out. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Well, hopefully we'll get some new music videos for some of these upcoming songs on this off this record and stuff. So get some more video content out there for everybody.
That's the plan.
Yeah, man. I think it'd be fun to how I was kind of saying some of the movie thing. I think it would be fun to see you and the guys kind of playing some characters and playing, dressing up in different roles and something.
I would love to do some more story-based videos. They unfortunately they take more time and a lot more money to make, but they're a lot of fun. Although I have to say that over the course of my history with our friend Lonnie, who does all our video work or most of our video work, he did all the Moreland and Arbuckle videos as well, and he really developed a penchant for just kicking the crap out of me as a matter of course.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch some of those videos that we did with M&A, it was always, he found a way to beat me up. And so Lord only knows what it would turn into now.
Yeah. I was telling a story the other day. I was doing a video, my buddy Gabe cast me in his music video. And I played this role of this like preacher, but I wore this like black mask, and I was wearing like a suit jacket, and I'm like preaching at this podium and kind of thing, and then he runs up and has to tackle me, and like of course we didn't get it right on the first shot, so he had to tackle me like 4 or 5 times on this the pew or whatever, and like
pulpit.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, yeah, and like so. Anyway, but it was just funny that he, of course, I'm like getting tackled every single time, and I'm like, all right, that's enough. This, I think we got it.
When you're a big man, he had to probably really work up some force to take you down.
Well, I'm also a classically trained actor, so I made it. No, I
know how to do a fall.
Yeah, yeah. No, it was fun though. That was my first time, in that sort of acting role and stuff. So it was fun to be something a little different.
Yeah, it is a good time. I did a lot of acting back when I was in high school, and it was something that I've actually always kind of wanted to get back into. But when you have a full-time music career, it can be difficult to find time for that sort of thing. But
right.
I think that's why it's maybe kind of fun when we do get to do the story-based videos, and hopefully we'll get to do do one on this record. It's just a question of finding the time and the money to put it together.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a bucket list thing. Like I don't really ever want to be like a movie star or any of that kind of stuff, but I do think it would be fun to like just have a cameo, like a one line, walk in and say something and then I'm done. Like, that's my goal, is to just have like that one scene where I maybe not even a speaking part, but just like standing in the back of a scene somewhere or something like that. In some like, major TV show or movie or something like that. Like, I think it'd be fun just to be like, hey, look, there I am.
Right. Your one moment.
Right.
There you go.
That was it.
Yeah.
I did it, guys. So
there I am, Hollywood.
Yeah. So, and then those, checks will just start rolling in after that. That's how it works.
Here's hoping, man. Let's get those royalties.
Yeah. A friend told me that's called mailbox money. I learned that the other day. Like,
yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I need some of that.
Don't we all?
We were kind of talking about, quarantine and all this stuff. Like, obviously it's a bit, everybody's been talking about it. It's been a wild year, but, how are things for you? Have you getting to be a lot more time at home being dad, obviously, right?
A lot of time at home being dad.
Yeah.
And that's great. It's been really cool. My son Hiram he's 3. And constantly reminds us that he will in fact be 4 very soon.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty amazing kid. He's got a lot of words. Got a lot of words. He can throw a lot of stuff at you, verbally, and so sometimes the stuff that pops out of his mouth is pretty amazing. And we've gotten to have some adventures. Yeah, there's a few different. There's some great hiking spots in Kansas. I think a lot of people probably don't realize that. People don't give Kansas the credit it deserves. Really amazing state. There's a lot of really serious natural beauty here. But we got to go earlier in the spring when things were really kind of locked down more. He and I went out on some hiking day hikes, up to the National Tallgrass Prairie Preserve in the Flint Hills here in Kansas. That was super cool, and getting to get out with him in nature like that was really special. And those were really good experiences. Stuff I wouldn't trade for the world, because I haven't gotten to do a lot of that stuff with him so far prior to this, and if I continue in the career that I have, and I plan on doing that, obviously your opportunities to do that sort of stuff are limited. So you really got to make the most of it. And so we got to do some stuff like that, which is really fun. You get a toddler out there, or 3, I guess he's still a toddler. He's a 3-year-old. We went to Lake Canopolis and did some hiking, and there were some really cool, just rock formations and some little caves, like, eroded into some of the hillsides and stuff, and climbing all over that kind of stuff was pretty cool. He really had a blast with that. So those were really special times, and that's been great. And
man.
Getting a lot of time at home with my wife Michelle too has really been awesome. I think this time can put a lot of stress on a relationship because you don't have the separation. You don't have as much time to yourself as you do in normal times. And especially in a relationship like ours, where from the jump, when we met 10 years ago, we always tell the story of how we met, because I was playing a private party at a VFW hall, which I always like to say is where you go to meet classy ladies. And we were playing a private party with my old band, Moreland and Arbuckle, and it turned out that the people who were throwing it were also mutual friends with my future wife's family. And we were on a step break, and she came up to buy a CD. And I don't. Most of you probably know this, but it's very difficult for the average person to open a CD, get the cellophane wrapper off of a CD. Very difficult if you're not used to doing it all the time.
Yeah, or have a key or something to want. Yeah.
Right. Well, but there are tricks.
Right.
And we usually have, and I handed her the CD and I said, here, I can help you open that. But before I was even done saying it, she had it open. And she was like, it's cool. I used to work at a record store and I love at first sight.
Yeah, there you go.
But we started chatting that night and I got her number and I said, if you told me that she'd like to go out sometime. And I was like, that's awesome. I'm going to Canada for 2 weeks. I'll call you when I get back. and that was true. I had to go on tour. And so we went out the first time when I got back. But so, I mean, that sort of set the course of our entire relationship right there. And so we're used to, I'm home for a while and I'm gone for a while and we have that time and space. So, in theory, something like this could be very difficult on our relationship, but I actually think it's done nothing but make it even stronger.
Yeah. I think I feel a similar way with me and my wife. Like, we've been, cooking a lot together and stuff more and like all that kind of, I mean, like, a lot of things like that we kind of maybe took for granted before, but it's like you really appreciate it at this time we're having together and it brings us closer together and everything. And so, yeah, we've been making the best of it. And obviously she still worked every day. She was considered an essential employee. So she's been still working, but so we, but it was nice having those time together when we did.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to make the best of this. It's something that none of us have in our lifetimes have never gone through. And so you can be angry about it. You can be depressed about it. You can be, and we all, I think, have gone through that. We've all gone through those, through those emotions, but you just do your best to make the best out of the situation. That's what I feel like we've tried to do from a musical standpoint. It's been interesting for me and for all the guys that I play with. We did a couple of live stream shows early on, and I actually did more of them with my other band, Haymakers, which is more of an acoustic string band kind of a thing.
And I saw even a couple of solo nights, like just you and the harmonica.
Yeah, especially early on, it was just like I don't know what to do with myself if I'm not playing and I'm not interacting with people in that way. So Michelle would just tell me just go upstairs and do a live stream or something. Just so I did. And so those were really interesting, and it was really cool because in a lot of ways, because it was a different way of interacting with people. And it becomes conversational, and people would, even when it was just me hanging out playing harmonica, people would type in requests, and I'd do my best to okay, I don't know how I'm going to do this with no band, but I'd try to find a way. And, so that was fun and an interesting experience. And the way all of this came down for us as well, we were the Damnations, we were on the road. We had to go down to Texas and Louisiana for 3 shows, right when it was all hitting. And literally, we left on a Thursday morning, first thing in the morning, to drive to Houston. And it had all kind of been starting to happen. Things were starting to get canceled. Things were starting to kind of slow, it was really the realization was really starting to hit. It's like, whoa, this is really a thing. Because prior to that, I think a lot of us thought it's like, oh, it's going to be like SARS or swine flu or, some of this other stuff that was like, we were warned we're going to be a big thing, but it got contained more quickly and never ended up being as big a deal. And so I think, most of the people I thought I knew thought it was, well, that's probably what it's going to be. And then it was like, oh, this is going to be a much bigger deal than that. This is going to be a bigger problem. And we were watching it. We drove from Wichita to Houston for the first show of this run. And we were just all on our phones, watching the news, watching it unfold. And it was like, whoa, very profound statement there. Whoa. But, so we got this weekend worth of shows down in Texas and Louisiana and then drove home, and then just everything over the next few weeks, everything we had for the next several months canceled, and predictably. But then in June, in some parts of the country, stuff's kind of started opening again. And so we had this other crazy experience of bars, venues calling like, hey man, you want to play this Friday? And so normally I'm sitting here in the middle of June when I would be trying to book the fall or even some stuff into early the following year.
Right.
And people are wanting to book us a week, 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
Which is an experience. It was like, this is, Brandon, our guitarist, and I were talking about it. It's like, this is weird, man. and then they book it and some stuff would get postponed again because they, like numbers would get weird in their area. Or, I mean, we since then it's all been stuff within about 4 or 5 hours of home. It's all pretty much one-offs and things like that. But stuff would get booked and then postponed or then canceled and then rebooked. It's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy year, but just try to adapt. And really, we've mostly just been focusing on doing what we need to do to try to get the record out and hopefully try to, get it in as many years as possible. Yeah, man.
You, is your son, is he picking up the harmonica or is he drawn to the music at all yet?
He likes to play around. Yeah. He's got a couple of my old harps that he'll mess around around the house from time to time. And his grandfather, my father-in-law, is a drummer, and so Grandpa gave Hiram a couple of snare drums, so that's awesome. He likes to beat on those, and he's just got other kind of percussion instruments. My buddy Matt Cox, who's a great songwriter from Omaha, sent us home with a bunch of like percussion instruments that had been his daughter's one time when we crashed up there, and so Hiram has all those now. And so yeah, I mean he definitely he's drawn to making noises. So we'll see.
Sounds like a little boy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we'll see how that develops into actual music making in the future. I hope he's into it, but he's got to be his own man, right? For sure. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to push anyway or whatever, but it's it would be super cool. If he, wants to pursue it and then, jam with you and stuff. So it'd be fun. Yeah. Well, let's talk about a song called, Darlin Dear. Darlin Dear. This is another favorite of mine, and I liked it too. Obviously, this record kind of covers a lot of ground, which I think is fun about this band. Is you do have your, bluesy songs. You have some kind of roots, kind of rock and roll kind of tunes, but this one's kind of more slowed down a little bit, and that kind of shows a little different, softer side of what you guys can do too. And but I mean, obviously it's fun to hearing all the different styles and sounds of the Damnations. Yeah, I think probably the most fun thing about this band is that we are in a position with the varied influences of all the guys who play in the band. Myself and Mark, who I already mentioned, and Brandon Hudspeth, our guitar player, who, has been a working professional musician since he was a teenager and also teaches guitar. And so between being a really heavily working musician on the blues scene for 2 decades now, and then also having to, he went through the jazz program at UMKC and has that background. And then also just, he's from Oklahoma, which automatically means country music's in his blood. So, I mean, there's a lot there. Kendall Newby, our drummer, who also worked with me in Moreland and Arbuckle. Kendall, when we first met, he was playing in heavy stoner rock bands and stuff like that. But also grew up in a house where his parents liked stuff like the band. So, and then our other bass player, Caleb Drummond, I think has played in every band in Wichita, from thrash metal to jazz to he also plays bass in my string band Haymakers, which is more of an Americana bluegrass thing. And he's played classic rock, blues rock style bands and indie rock stuff. So I mean, it's a pretty varied group of influences, but we all have a kinship and the love for kind of the variety of American roots music. And so, you know, I hope and I think that we're able to really pretty tastefully pull those influences together and do a lot of different things pretty well. And people, that's kind of the main compliment we get. But yeah, I mean, like you said, you see that in a song like Darlin Dear, which that was a tune that Kendall actually had the main structure for, and had kind of started writing, and he showed it to me. And, the synapses started firing for me. And I after he had the basic chord structure and had written a verse, I came up with the chorus and the second verse. And, it's the sappiest love song we've ever written. But it's kind of this mellow country ballad, and it really resonates with people. We have a lot of people. We have a lot of our fans request that when it shows, and it was one that it came together pretty quickly and easily. Kendall and I got that one together once we started working on it, and it's cool to have that. I guess it's kind of a curveball to throw people that maybe they don't expect when we come out of the gate with kind of more rockin', bluesy roots rock kind of stuff.
Drag a cigarette and a sip of gin. I like a good cliche every now and then, so I grab a stool and take my medicine. The simple pleasures are my weakness, I'll admit. Take it all away and I won't mind a bit. Girl, from you I swear I could never bear to part. Oh, darling dear, you are my heart. Like making love in the afternoon, in the yellow light of the summer moon. Get my breakfast from a greasy spoon, hum the melody of my favorite tune. The simple pleasures are my weakness, I'll admit. Take it all away and I won't mind a bit. Girl, from you I swear I could never bear to part. Oh, darling dear, you are my heart.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think it's great. I like the song a lot, but I just think it's good for a set list, man, to have a lot of variety, ups and downs, and having those more upbeat, having one little slower one where maybe a couple can dance to it or whatever. And
Yeah.
so it's nice as you're thinking about putting together a set list. So it's nice to have some of those slower ones in there too. So
yeah, I mean, and you're right. Ebb and flow in a set list is super
Right.
important. But everybody, well, I say everybody. I try not to speak in superlatives because you're bound to be wrong. But
right.
I think a lot of most folks like a good ballad, and
Yeah.
whether they want to admit it or not, most folks like a good sappy love song because everybody can identify with that, or at least again, I
Sure.
think most people can identify with that. So,
Yeah. Well, even my personal taste, like I tend to draw towards some like really dark, depressing stuff a lot of times too. Like, I'm like, of course, like Jason Isbell and
Sure.
John Moreland, and like a lot of these, guys, they write some terribly depressing lyrics sometimes in some of their songs, but I'm very happy in my life, but I got still like I can connect to these lyrics and listen to this guy's story they're telling and stuff. So even if you've never been in a sappy relationship where you can connect to that love song, you can still appreciate it for what it is and still enjoy the song, even if that's not your story and stuff. So
Well, I think that's the thing about songwriting. It should be
Right.
storytelling, and it should be about connecting.
right.
It should be about connecting with people on that level. And so I think that's what we try to accomplish, what I try to accomplish in our songs. It's just to tell those stories and create those connections, or I don't know, maybe elaborate on those concepts that we might have, mentally and emotionally. And there's a reason there's a lot of love songs, and that's because it's a pretty universal strain
Right.
throughout humankind. And so it's pretty hard to not identify with something like that on some level, I would think.
Yeah. Love songs are heartbreak songs, so
That's true.
yeah, I think that's probably the most easiest thing to write about because everybody's been there. I think that's what probably, the peaks of our emotional, stuff like that's where, but yeah, not that it's easy to write a song because I've been trying for a long time.
It is. It seems to be for some people.
Yeah.
It takes me a long time, a lot of the time. Something I have to put a lot of time and effort into.
Yeah. For me, it's like one of those, I mean, obviously I've never really, I don't know if I ever really fully tried, but because every time I do sit down to write anything, it's everybody else's lyrics come out of my head. So, but it is again, kind of a bucket list thing for me. I would love to write a song and have somebody record it or something like that. I think that would be super cool.
Maybe one day, man.
Yeah. Maybe one day.
Just keep working on it.
Yeah. Are those CDs or DVDs behind you?
Yeah. So for everybody, I guess this is still just an audio thing. So for everyone who's listening out there, I'm sitting in my basement in Wichita, Kansas, and behind me is shelves of my wife and I's antiquated technology, which is CDs.
Right.
Yeah. So you get a weird variety of mostly roots music stuff, and then hers is a whole bunch of like Brit pop.
Okay.
And stuff like everything from the Beatles and the Who to more modern stuff like the Coral and Noel Gallagher and stuff like that is kind of her bag.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out because I have a similar looking collection of DVDs. I used to have a ton of CDs, and then somebody stole them all. I still have quite a bit, but I also have a ton of vinyl, like and on shelves and stuff too, and a couple of them. Actually, I think I have at least two M&A records autographed on my wall. So a couple of them are framed up there.
All right. Yeah, I mean I think one of the cool things about vinyl is beyond, I just love the sonic qualities of it, and that's why it's what I usually try to listen to at home. But also is that kind of the cover art really becomes art.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to keep the actual record in some kind of some kind of other container to help preserve it. You can hang up
Right.
the album art on the wall if you want. I never do that, but I've had a lot of other people tell me that they do. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like the album art enough to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, I like that from obviously having them autographed and things like that, a little more personal attachment to some of these and stuff. And,
Sure.
but yeah, no, I don't have a ton of them, but they do make some cool art sometimes on them. And that's I think that's what's fun about that format too, like you're saying. So, we just got, even like some of the picture disc and stuff, or I think what, a friend of mine's been making like these like custom records, Romanus Records. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they've been doing a lot of like weird pressings where they're full of like glow in the dark sand and
Nice.
like blood splatter and like all kinds of like weird
All right.
things. Like so like inside the record like would be like a red liquid, like it looks like blood and like moves around the whole time while the record's spinning and like stuff like that. So they've been doing some really like innovative type of stuff with the technology and like it's super cool. So
Yeah, it's interesting to see people, getting that creative with it. That's blood floating around in your record. That's fucking
Yeah.
metal.
Right. Yeah, man.
It's,
Yeah. But I just think it's cool. I mean, again, like it creates a whole different experience to the music compared to just hit and play on Spotify or whatever. It's like, let alone the audio quality different, but you're also going to get like the whole visual of it all. Like you're going to have the record to look at while it's spinning, but you're also going to have the album art like we talked about and everything. So
yeah, it's a more active listening experience with vinyl.
Right.
You get, I think you get more into it. You spend a little bit more time actively engaged with the music with vinyl, and that's ideally what you want, right? I mean, it's not
Sure.
that sometimes you don't just want something on in the background to kind of just sort of help your day move along, but if you want really an active listening experience, I think vinyl's perfect for that. And it kind of forces you to, because you got to flip the record, you got to be paying attention to it and stuff like that. So that's a beautiful thing with vinyl.
Yeah. We were talking about those CDs. Do you recall your first CD?
Oof. I'm almost ashamed to admit it. I think it was something like Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
Like when I was probably like 11 or 12. It was I think my mom got it for me for Christmas, like a greatest hits or something like that.
I think first, like, I know I got three, but I'm blanking on, I can't remember now what the third was, but I do remember Christmas asking for a couple CDs, and I remember getting Aerosmith's Greatest Hits and Pearl Jam Vitology. They're like two of the first records that I had as a kid.
Great.
Yeah, and then I tell a story a lot too. Like I have a very vivid memory too of like being way too young, but I went to a flea market and I asked Dad for a couple bucks or whatever, and I bought Eazy-E's straight off the motherfucking streets of Compton.
Nice.
So like I remember listening, getting introduced to NWA and Eazy-E in my cousin's car, and like for whatever reason, like I really liked those songs, and so I remember like I was maybe 10 or something, if that, like, and bought that record, and it just made me laugh to think about it like that. It's got this like big parental advisory sticker on it and stuff, and then they just sold it to some kid, and
that's awesome, man. That music was groundbreaking. That music was powerful. You can't. I get so annoyed with people who want to act like rap and hip hop somehow isn't music, and that's such a narrow-minded, ignorant way to look at things. Because that music, that stuff changed the game.
Sure.
And again, it's extremely powerful, and it comes from a place of, you're talking about music that's really raw. And really, it's profane, and it deals with subject matter that a lot of people might find offensive or difficult. But it is the same thing as Robert Johnson. It's the same thing as Billie Holiday, and that it's the same thing as like Marvin Gaye, like what's going on? Like that strain of reality that runs through that music, and the way that it conveys the experience of the artist, and brought that experience to people who never would have been able to probably know anything about it. It's pretty visceral, man. I mean, I think you can't deny the power of that music. So I can totally understand how that music drew you in at that age. I mean, I remember when I first heard that stuff when I was like 12, and absolutely. Yeah. And then, then blues happened for me a few years later, and that kind of set the course of the rest of my life.
Sure. I mean, that was a big part of growing up for me too. I remember listening to a lot of like my parents' records, and it was like a lot of Bo Diddley greatest hits.
Yeah,
and so like I was always really drawn to that stuff too. Like it was just fun songs, man. They're all they all had a good groove and to them and stuff, and felt good. But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, Clapton, obviously, and B.B. King. You got a lot of blues influence from my parents, my mom and dad. More, I think mom was more blues. Dad kind of, it was like, I remember a lot of Southern rock stuff, a lot of, Allman Brothers, ZZ Top.
Yeah.
And I remember also having like this Conway Twitty box set that we used to play a lot too. And,
nice.
So they were, obviously I liked those songs, and I used to sing them a lot as a kid, but man, like listening, I went back and like, listening to them as an adult, and I'm like, man, these songs are filthy. Like, it's just like, if you start listening to what he's talking about, like every one of them is like, about trying to hook up and stuff. And, it's just funny that like you put it to a country song and everybody's like, hey, this song's all right. But it's like, if it's to a rap song and he's singing about that stuff, then everybody gets, there's a lot of, it's just like, it's really like the same content, really. It's some different lyrics that are put in there, but
way of saying
right. Yeah. But it's like, so it's just funny how, it's okay if Conway's saying it though.
Yeah.
Some of that songs, but
well, I mean, there's people, I mean, it's sadly, I think there are some elements of, as much as you hate to say it, there's elements of racism in that.
Sure.
People don't want to identify, the legitimacy of the Black experience and things like that. So, I mean, that's sadly, but still great music.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I have a memory too, like of Dad used to play some harmonica and some guitar and stuff, and like we would jamming or we used to jam and call it our family band, and he would play Ozark Mountain Daredevils, Standing on a Rock, and like I remember singing along to that, like standing on a rock, just waiting for my seeds to grow. Mm-hmm. And like again, these are just random memories through my childhood, man. The music has always been there like that.
I think as you grow older and, you have more experiences in life, it's absolutely it's a thing that a lot of us go through. The songs that we heard when we were kids, and you can understand them on a much different level as you get older.
Yeah.
Understand what a lot of the things they were talking about were, whether it's sex or drugs or, just heavier themes that, when you're a kid, it's just a fun turn of phrase or something, but it's that extra depth. But sure. I mean, again, that talks about that comes back to the power of a piece of music, because it can resonate on different levels. And that's extremely important, I think, when you're trying to write a good tune.
Yeah, man. Well, speaking of good tunes,
smooth segue.
Yeah. Hey man, that's those years of podcasting paying off right there.
That's right. That's what we do on Rock Paper Podcast. Smooth segues.
We got a song called Across the Desert. This is another favorite of mine from My Getaway, due out on September 11th, 2020. And what would you like to share around this song, Dustin?
That was a fun one. And I'll be 100% honest, that song started out life as our interpretation of an old Muddy Waters tune called She's All Right. which is one of my favorite Muddy tunes. And when we started the band, it was one of the first tunes we learned up. But we played it a lot at, most of our shows, and I started to have new lyrics come into my head to go along with that melody line. And I don't sing the melody exactly the same way Muddy did, and we certainly don't play it the same way that Muddy did. And so, as we played the song more and I was able to develop these new lyrics the way that I wanted to, it just kind of turned into our song. And it's completely new lyrics and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's just a driving, heavy-handed blues tune, just a, 2-beat kind of a thing, which, really has its roots in that kind of just that Mississippi blues trip. And, I guess the way we do it, you might call it more of a roots rock tune, but, that's the kind of stuff that for me is really, at the core of what I've been doing, my whole musical life or most of it. And so, Brandon is really strong in that stuff as well. So it's a strong background in that stuff as well. So, I mean, it was a song that I think is pretty natural for us.
Cross the great divide.
Yeah, man. Well, again, you can find My Getaway at Dustin Arbuckle, Damnations.com. Get yourself a physical copy and a T-shirt while you're over there.
We also have koozies.
Koozies. All right.
Yeah. We need to get a new run of keychains made as well. We're gonna work on that. Try to get
There
some
you go.
more. Maybe masks soon. Been talking to my screen printing guys, so hopefully we can get you some masks.
Yeah. I debated if I should get my own run of RPP ones, but then I was like, I don't want to like get them and then like this thing's gone. Then, as soon as I get them or something like, it's like, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case though, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to be pessimistic or anything, but I do think we're probably got at least a few more months of masks being part of our regular wardrobe. So hey, if you can sport one that helps represent your favorite band, why not?
Yeah, right.
And plus, and even after COVID's over, man, like I wear face masks when I'm mowing the lawn and stuff because it helps with my allergies. So it's like it's not like it's they have other uses. So at least for some of us, I guess.
Sure. Yep. So maybe face masks coming soon.
Maybe coming soon. We don't know.
I saw it might. I thought it was pretty fun. Like, but guys, K Brothers that I follow out of Columbia, Missouri, they just did a run of face mask, and Pat's kind of known for his beard look, and so like that's like it's like his face on the face mask, so you can have your own beard look like Pat. So
I like it.
I thought that was a pretty clever idea.
Yeah.
So I got a couple questions for you, Dustin, and we'll get out of here. I've been having fun asking some of these, but so when the Dustin Arbuckle and the Damnations movie comes out, who are you gonna cast to play yourself, or who would you like to see cast in the role?
Oh man, that's hard.
Yeah,
that's really tough.
Anybody ever tell you look like somebody?
Yeah, like I've gotten Kiefer Sutherland a lot.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that dude's a great actor. Although he may be a little old to play me at this point.
They got CGI, man. They can.
Yeah, no, just make him younger. Maybe him. I don't know. I've always liked Matt Damon a lot. I don't know. It's got to be somebody who can at least fake playing the harmonica,
right?
And somebody who maybe at least vaguely looks like me and can grow a decent beard.
Yeah. Kiefer does play then. I don't know about harmonica, but I know he's a musician, right?
Is he? Yeah, is he a guitar player?
Maybe. I know he came to town not long ago and with his band, like.
Okay, you know who I want to play me? Just because I have a horrible man crush on this dude is Tom Hardy.
There you go.
And because I want to hear him because he does all these different random voices in all of his movies. The guy's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
He does all the different weird voices and accents. So I want to hear him just have to sound like a Midwesterner,
right?
And also have to, sing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say Tom Hardy just because
that Bane voice is always one of my favorites to do the impressions of and stuff like that. Just because it's funny kind of voice, like with that mask on and stuff.
Yeah. Then I'd have to think really hard about who would play all the other guys.
Yeah.
I think we'd get John Malkovich to play Mark and God, man, think about who would have to get to play Brandon and Kendall. Man, that's going to take some. I'm going to have to ask the guys that and Caleb. Yeah, I'm going to have to ask all the guys that next time we're together. Who do you want to play you in the movie?
Yeah.
we're doing that live stream on Friday night.
There you go. Yeah,
we'll have that come up.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that, but yeah, be sure to tune in. I guess that'll be on Facebook, like.
Yeah, it'll be in our Facebook page. We're partnering up with a place here in Wichita. They call themselves Undisclosed Location Studios. And back in the, when we were kind of more locked down and there weren't any shows happening around here, they were doing some really high quality live stream shows. A local sound guy who we work with a lot, a guy named Daniel Prater, was doing the audio and was really doing a great job with that. And he was working with a local a photographer who had a studio, a guy named, well, I don't know if he wants me to talk about him. His name's Brian, but was doing a really good job with the video. And so when we set the release date for the record, we figured, well, we could do an album release show somewhere here in town. But obviously, a lot of people aren't comfortable coming out right now, and your options for venues are kind of limited. Really, we're pretty much trying to only play outdoor shows right now because we feel like it's just safer, more responsible. But we wanted something that we could reach people all over with. And so we just decided that doing a live stream was the way to go. So hopefully our friends all over the country, and maybe if anybody in Europe feels like staying up late, or some of our people in Poland and the UK and our fans over there will want to stay up late and watch it. It's at 7 p.m. Central Time. Go to our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Dustin Arbuckle Music. So
there you go. Yeah, man, that's and especially if you know about it in advance like this, you can set it up to where call a couple of friends, throw it up on the big screen or something like that, and it's like you're there. So
kind of as close as thing you can get,
right? Yeah. But yeah, man, that'd be a cool night. So be sure to check that out. All right. What's something you think you could get into the Guinness Book of World Records for?
I don't. Oof. Man. That's that also takes some thought. I'm going to say, as a musician, as a touring musician, you spend a lot of time driving, and we've all at one time or another. I'm not sure if I could do it, but Brandon Hudspeth, our guitarist, could probably set a record for most consecutive hours driven.
Yeah.
That guy, when he puts his mind to it, can just eat hours on the road like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, I can do a lot, but that guy he just lives on caffeine. And in addition to being an amazing guitar player, he is a really outstanding road man. He can really knock down the miles driving. So, I mean, I would have a hard time coming up with anything I could do. I'll have to ask my wife if she's got any thoughts on that. But I know Brandon could probably challenge her. He could put a long haul trucker to shame.
Yeah, I think my longest stretch I did like 14 hours from Daytona to St. Louis in one stretch, just stopping for gas. And by the time I got, was like hit like the Illinois line there and stuff, I'm like, that's it. I'm gunning it until we get home. Like, I'm just sick of being in this car. I got to get out of here. And we're no more stopping. We're not, we're just plowing through here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my longest stretch. What's a dream duet or collaboration you'd like to see for yourself or the band?
Oh man, that's a really tough one too, because there's so many possibilities.
Like, do you ever do you think, like, when you think of duet, would you like to more vocalists, or do you think about other harmonica players you'd like to jam with, or are there just guitar players, or where's your mind go when you think about that?
Well, and that's what I mean. There's so many great possibilities. Is it us getting to have like a special guest jam in the band? Is it me personally getting to go jam, play harp with somebody else or sing with somebody else? And that's, those are all really, really, really tough questions and stuff. And those ideas shift over the years.
Sure. I also like to open it to like the producers. I always think I think it'd be cool to sit in a room with like a Rick Rubin or a Dave Cobb or something, like, sure. If I, have one of those guys produce one of our tracks or something like that. And
yeah, no, that would be amazing. Man, so if I had to pick, oh man, that's so hard. if I had to pick one person to work with for us, for just me or for us as a band, that I think would be probably just the most amazing thing, I'd have to say Mavis Staples.
Yeah.
Because she's, I mean, I've gotten to see Mavis once live, and she's just, I mean, and it's really tough because there's some other people up there. I would love to get to work with like the Tedeschi Trucks band sometime. Like Susan and Derek are both amazing, and
Sure.
or Gillian Welch and David Rawlings. You know, they would also be right up there for me. But I think Mavis, just because she is probably my favorite living performer, and you know, obviously the musical, I would think chemistry, it would be really cool because, you know, I love all the Staple Singers. I love the Staple Singers stuff, and I love a lot of her solo stuff, and just that her background in I mean, it's gospel music, but I mean, her dad, you know, Pop Staples, you know, he learned some of the rudiments of guitar from Charlie Patton. You know, I mean, just going all the way back to the deepest roots of blues and 20th century American music, and her connection to that, and just, but her own, like Mavis is her voice. I mean, it's obviously it's changed over the years, but man, if you go back to that Staple Singer stuff from the 50s when she was first recording, I mean, she was 15 and just like beyond a full grown woman. And it just one of the most amazing, just most powerful, maybe the most powerful voice I've ever heard in my life. And even now, as at 80 plus years old, she puts on a great show. She has such an amazing rapport with the crowd. Everything about that woman just comes off as so genuine and so just from the heart. And I'd cut off one of my toes, man. Like I would love to get to play with Mavis. I would never want to sing a note. I would just let her. But yeah, if we could ever like, yeah, that I think Mavis would be my dream collaboration. That would be pretty amazing.
Yeah, that would be incredible. That's what I love about talking to you, though, too. Like you are so, one, you're a fan, but you're also so well educated on the blues, especially, and just music and this stuff. So it's like always fun to like learn a little bit from you too about some of these different people. So,
well, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I know quite a bit. I mean, I don't know, like, but like always, like you know who influenced these people or whatever, and these other players and these different things. So it always gives me something else to like look into, and then kind of discovering some music backwards sometimes. And
I think, you know, music's it's a tree, right? You know, it's got the branches, and I think it's important to understand where things come from and how things happened. And one of the most fascinating things about American music is the cross-pollination aspect and who got what from whom, and how, you know, I mean, how all these different things inter-influenced each other to create what we have. And
right.
The older I get and the longer I play this music, the music that I play, which, you know, we talked about, I love, you know, just kind of all manner of American roots music. And it started out with blues for me. I mean, that's what made me want to play music when I was a teenager. But, you know, as I've gone on, it's, you know, country music and bluegrass and soul music and jazz. And I can't pretend to be super well versed in jazz, but there's a lot of it I love. And, you know, Appalachian folk music and,
sure.
and you know, and then into the more modern, I mean, that's the thing, more modern forms of hip music of folk music are, you know, it's hip hop and it's rap or it's rock and roll. And, you know, we don't think of folk music as these things being folk music, but folk music's music of the people, man.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, rock and roll and soul music and hip hop and rap and funk and, you know, all that stuff, that is the music of the people, man. And so that's, you know, I'm a person.
Yeah. You mentioned you were talking about Mavis earlier, and that was I was actually had tickets to see her at Roots and Blues in Columbia, Missouri, and it was going to be like her and Brittany Howard and Brandy Carlisle and Sheryl Crow. It was like all female headliners that they were working on this year, and or at least females in the band or something. There was like the theme they were going for, and so I was like, but yeah, I was very excited about getting to see Mavis and getting to see Brittany Howard. Obviously, I'm a big fan of her stuff, but that's all put on hold till next year, just like everything else was. So hopefully they can still get that lineup together again for next summer.
Here's hoping, man.
Yeah.
We're all just, everything kind of resets for next year. All these festivals and stuff we were supposed to do. It's all like, plan on next year. We're like,
yeah,
cool, we'll do it.
Yeah, right.
It's gonna make booking for next year kind of, sort of less labor intensive because you're just already gonna know where all the anchor dates are.
Yeah, copy and paste from.
Yeah, finding routing dates could be interesting because we'll see how many venues survive this. But
right,
that's one thing actually I would like to say before we finish is the National Independent Venues Association is doing a lot right now to try to get Congress to take action to give some more relief to independent music and arts venues. People have probably seen the hashtag Save Our Stages thing,
right?
And so please, if you're a music fan, if you're a fan of the performing arts at all, reach out to your congressperson and encourage them to vote for whatever legislation comes up to. At least hopefully it's not like roped in with a whole bunch of other stuff that's not cool. But
yeah.
But I mean, encourage them to vote for the legislation to try to give more relief to independent venues. I can't remember if it's actually called the Save Our Stages Act or something. It's something. If you search for that, I'm sure you'll find it. But
right.
I would like to highly encourage people to do that because if we don't have places to play, I mean, it's going to be interesting to figure out how we're going to do this. So
yeah, man, I know it's already impacted some spots around here in St. Louis. I'm sure, all through Kansas too and stuff. I'm sure there's places already feeling the effects, but I'm hoping that we still have some stages left to play when we can.
We will.
Yeah, it's
gonna, man. We'll come out the other end of this tunnel. There's light there. There's always light. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. There's a lot of change. We're in a time of upheaval in this country. And right now it looks pretty difficult and pretty dark, but I really think all this that we're going through right now, obviously the COVID thing's really difficult, but obviously, there's a lot of social justice stuff and things like that are happening right now. And I think we can come out of this if we all do the right things and we try to move things in a direction where everything gets better for everybody. I mean, we're going to come out of it, I think, in a better place than we have been. So at least I hope that's what I try to say to myself.
Yeah, man, for sure. Yeah. Well, buddy, this has been an incredible evening. I'm really glad we got to record and hang out tonight.
It's been a pleasure, Shane. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, and always good to hang out with you. And hopefully next time I see you will not be on this computer screen though, but hopefully we can do this and hang out in person next time. Well, yeah, I definitely would like to get the band back to St. Louis sooner than later. So maybe hopefully in the spring or something we can look at a show out there. Yeah. And again, for tour dates, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, anything else you need, whenever tour dates are, back up there and stuff. But you can find everything at Dustin Arbuckle, Damnations.com. So you can, again, check that out and get involved on social media so you can know when the more music's coming, or videos, shows, the live feed on Friday, all that fun stuff. So we're on Facebook and Instagram and Bandcamp. Bands in Town. Yeah. All that stuff. Don't do Twitter because I hate Twitter. Yeah.
It's toxic. It's even more. All of social media is toxic. But my God, Twitter.
Yeah.
Oh,
I post the show there, but like I don't do.
no,
I'm not very good at it.
if all you're doing is sharing legitimate information,
Yeah.
you're on the good side of things. Shane.
All right. But yeah, Dustin, I can't wait for everybody else to give this record a spin. It's like I said, I'm a big fan. I mean, I've been following you dudes for a long time, so I'm really happy to see this record come out, and I'm excited for everybody else to give it a spin, man, because some really good stuff on here.
Thank you, Shane.
So yeah, man. I was trying to think. Well, it's probably been 9 years or eight, 9 years. Maybe we've been friends now, something like that.
Close. I honestly would have it maybe even longer.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known each other a while, man. I mean, since
Yeah.
I was playing Beale on Broadway with M&A back in the day. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's kind of crazy to sit and think about that, like how long we've known each other now. So
yeah, I mean, I'm happy to know you, man. Seriously, you've been supporting my music for longer than a lot of folks have, and that's it means the world to me. And I mean, and the connections that we get to create with the people that we meet out in the world doing this is one of the best parts of it. So I'm happy and proud to know you, man.
no, thanks, man. Yeah, I feel the same. I love that. Like, let alone you're a fan of somebody, but then you can become friends too. Like, I think that's super cool that we've been able to maintain a friendship over the years of all this stuff. And so, it's, even if we only see each other once or twice a year or something like that, but it's always fun when we get to catch up. And so,
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man, I'm happy and proud to know you too. So thanks, buddy. I will talk to you soon, my friend.
Take care, Shane.
Later, Dustin. Bye, everyone.